hire discount Johnny Depp for this movie?
That's what I kept thinking.
That's what
Man, this
Kadish
guy
calls
really
him, too.
reminds me of Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's discount Johnny Depp.
What do you want? To see what your insides look like.
Horror movie stuff. Prom night revisited, man.
Is that you, Randy?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
What's up, everybody? We're talking about the 90s classic slasher, Scream. Seems to be everybody's favorite meta slasher movie.
It was the first of its kind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm told. I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader's here.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
I remember watching this movie in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only Scream movie I've ever seen in the theater.
Yeah.
And I watched it in the theater in 1996 and one time. And I forgot everything about it. So when I watched it again last night, it was like watching a brand new movie.
Ah. Was that fun?
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
Oh my God. Alex.
Oh, hold on.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm trying
It's
to
not
copy
that
you.
kind of movie.
You're trying to steal my thing again. That's okay.
He's doing vampire
Rah.
teeth with candy corn.
Anyway, it's a movie. Judah's also here.
Hello! I had a great time this week. Let me tell you something.
What's up?
I watched this movie and I watched the rest of them.
No way.
Yep.
Did you watch the new one with Jenna Ortega?
Yep.
Is it any good?
I liked it.
Really?
Yeah. There's two with Jenna Ortega.
No way.
Wait.
How did
Way to spoil it.
Discount Johnny Depp come back?
She's in the poster.
Don't spoil it.
I can't spoil it.
No.
It's in IMDb.
Yeah. Kadish is also here.
Flashback, maybe?
Well, whatever.
So I remember going to see this movie in the theater, and this was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had in my life.
Awesome.
Because I went and saw it in a matinee where there was like no one in the theater but me. And I loved this movie so much that I went back that night, and it was a sold out theater
Oh, of course you did.
filled with college girls
Oh.
who screamed their asses off. Like if you wanted to see like an engaged audience, like this was it. And I had the most fun of any movie I've ever seen in a theater.
No
Wow.
This movie,
Wow.
yeah.
I did the thing that they do in the movie. I went to the video store and I rented a video, and then I went home and I watched this movie by myself and didn't get murdered. Good for me.
Like you're not supposed to do that.
I missed the video store.
That's a cool thing in this movie that I do
Yeah.
miss. The video store.
Friday night video store, that
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
was lit.
Yep. We had a little corner store because I lived in Podunk, middle of nowhere. And it was in a strip mall. And it was in literally the corner. Like the strip mall would go like this, and then another one like this. And the video store is in the corner, tucked in. You walk into this little door, go in, and there's just movies everywhere. And they've got their little bead carton in the back for the pornos. And it's like, yeah, man, that's the place to be.
In my little podunk town in Southern Oregon, we had a Hollywood Video. We had a Blockbuster Video. We had 4 or 5 mom and pop video stores, and they were all awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do miss going to the store
Yeah.
and renting a VHS videotape or a DVD.
What is it about that?
I don't know.
Can
It was just
anybody
kinda fun.
explain that to me?
It's because you might get it and you might not.
Yeah.
Like if you got there and all of them were out,
Yeah.
you were out of luck. It
Yeah,
was like a mystery.
Or it's like, yo, video store clerk, how many are coming back tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got 9 of those coming back tonight. It's like, okay, well, I'm waiting until one of them comes back.
Mm.
Well, another cool part
So
about
we did that. It's like I would wait until it's like, is that one? You hear the in the box of the people.
Oh, yeah, and they
the
drop
box
it in the
off.
thing, yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, so what is that one? It's like, yo, man, chill, relax.
I would have kicked you out.
another cool part about video stores is like you'd discover these direct to video things, right? Where like you could go in there and find movies that you'd never even heard of just by
Yeah.
browsing the shelves, and they were all bad, but
Yep.
still it was a discovery process.
Well, that's what happened when you didn't get the video that you wanted.
Right.
You had to go
Yeah,
find
what's your
something
second tier?
else, and that's how you discovered a lot of movies that you wouldn't
That's
have ordinarily
how-
watched.
That's how Full Moon Entertainment made all their money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All their money.
I remember in college, our local video store would have like the 99-cent shelf. Where
Yeah.
you could like rent a
Mhm.
movie for like $1.
Yeah.
We'd always hit that one, and it was inevitably just like the worst fucking movie.
Well, you could get
Yeah.
5 of them.
Yeah,
It'd
exactly.
be like, it's like, oh, you're out of Scream? Shit. Doll Man versus Demonic Toys. I don't know what the fuck this is,
Yeah.
but Okay, whatever.
They wouldn't have Scream, but they'd have like the cheap knockoff Holler. You'd be like, check out Holler.
What's this movie with these midgets and this dude?
What was that movie called?
Wow.
Creeps.
Cool.
Creeps.
What's this Creeps movie? Trifecta? What?
Trifecta.
Weird.
Is that where you got your trifecta from?
No.
Video store movies?
Yeah.
All right. Before we let Jude go off on her epic synopsis, we have a new sponsor for the podcast. We are proud to represent and help out Criticless. Criticless is the newest, best up-and-coming movie review app out there. And I'm not just saying that. I have literally become addicted to reviewing movies on this app because they gamify it. They make it fun. It's visually entertaining. The way that they have it set up is you have like little bars that you can move across like a spectrum. Like, how violent is this movie? Oh, this is Scream. Well, it's got a bit of violence. There's some guts. Drew Barrymore. Is it political? No, not at all. It's not political. It's a freaking 90s slasher movie. Go down the rung a little bit. Is it family friendly? Kind of. If you're a little fucked up, maybe.
Depends on your family.
So,
It depends on your family.
How messed up is your family?
Yeah. And you can add notes to each one of these things.
Yep.
It's a fantastic brand new app called Criticless. Download it on Amazon, on your Apple or Android devices. And you can join us. We're all there. You're going to be on it, Jude. Going to get you on it.
I keep watching all of you not being able to not do it.
Oh my gosh.
And
It's
so
an
I haven't
Super
downloaded
addicting,
it
super
yet.
fun. It's got a great
They also have a
community.
great website,
Yep.
and it's a free speech forward platform.
Yes.
So like they're not going to censor you or anything.
Oh yeah, it's not like Rotten Tomatoes where it's like all skewed weirdly and there's critics out there saying this movie's amazing. It's actually trash. That's not happening. You can actually set your own people. So if you have a reviewer, if it happens to be us, thank you so much, that you can set as a friend with benefit. So if that person likes a movie and you generally kind of line up with them and they like the same type of stuff as you set them up as a friend with benefit. And that way when they review a movie and you see it, and you say, oh, they liked it, that means I'll probably like it. It's a really great way to kind of cut out the nonsense with well, the critics said this movie was bad. But it's really freaking awesome.
Friends with benefit means.
Well, maybe it means something else otherwise. Well, anyway, go out there and go to criticless.com if you're on a desktop or download the app on your mobile device. Really fun. Join us, Salty Nerd Podcast, at Salty Nerd on the app. And I think Matt Vader's also there. Matthew Kadish is also there. And Odin's movie blog is addicted to this freaking app. He has been reviewing movies nonstop ever since I introduced it to him. So join us on Criticless. All right, Jude, take it away.
All right, sir.
Scream.
1996, Scream, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 51 minutes. This had a budget of $14 million. What do you think this brought into the box office?
Wait, what was the budget?
85 million. 14 million budget, right?
14
Oh,
million.
God.
I'm going to say it made $100 million.
Yeah, 100 million.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Budget of 14 million, box office bring home of $173 million. This was a hit.
Wow.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Good for it.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Jesus Christ, you don't know the rules? There are certain rules one must abide by in order to survive a horror movie. Virgin prude Sidney Prescott was doing so good at avoiding the business end of murder weapons until she breaks the rules of horror and has premarital sex, putting her on the radar of a franchise that pioneered 90s horror cinema tropes. Discuss.
That was very quick.
That's it?
That's it.
All right.
So
right.
this is one of Jude's favorite movies.
This is another one of those movies where I know every line of dialogue.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be sitting there watching it. She'll literally be saying line by line what's happening on screen.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to do the phone thing.
Fucking hit me with the phone, dick.
Yeah.
I think I'm fucking dying here.
Shit's so funny.
Got me too deep, Billy. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Okay, so this is my first watch.
I thought so.
Never seen this movie all the way through before. I've seen clips, obviously. It's a very, very famous movie.
Did you know about the two killer
Nope.
thing?
No.
Okay.
But as I was watching, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, I got to try and figure out who the killer is. And I'm really bad at mysteries, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I am not Mr. Kadish over here. I am like,
I'd rather watch a mystery with you.
You throw a
He's
mystery.
like, it's 5 minutes in. He's like, this is who did it.
Dude,
I'm like, God damn it.
Mystery movies make me feel so stupid. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to just go with the ride and be like, oh. I can't try and figure it out because it just makes me feel dumb. And I hate that feeling. But I was like, okay, I got to try and. This is a classic. It's a 90s thing. I need to figure it out. And the most of the way through, I'm like, it's 1,000% that creepy boyfriend. Like 1,000%. 1,000%. It's discount Johnny Depp.
Discount Johnny Depp.
There's
Discount Johnny Depp.
no way possible that it's not him.
Surprise, Alex.
But then they keep throwing you these things where like, well, I was in jail. It couldn't have been me. And I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, it's something. Okay, there's somebody else involved in this. And then what's the actor's name? He plays Shaggy.
Matthew Lillard?
Shaggy.
Sure. Yeah. That guy, he was such a doofus in this movie. And I'm like, okay, he's over.
Yeah.
He's overdoing it. He's Shaggy.
This was his first movie.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah. So like, he accompanied his girlfriend to an audition that she was doing, and the casting agent for Scream saw him and was like, "Hey, are you an actor?" And he's like, "No, I've never acted before." She's like, "Would you mind coming in and auditioning?" And so like, the character that he played was like, admittedly very underwritten. And he was like so over the top that he gave the character personality and won over Wes Craven. He was like,
Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that Skeet Ulrich? Skeet?
Skeet.
What I call him, and Matthew Lillard still do the cons together, like horror cons, and they still do like Q&As together.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Right on. I enjoyed this movie. Not my cup of tea.
sure, I knew that.
I was like, okay, I can see where the pleasure comes from people like Jude. I get it. It's very meta. Those are my favorite moments when it was like super meta and was calling itself out on its own tropes. I was like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, the rules.
Yeah, you can't.
She didn't show her tits till she went legits.
Dude, I was so upset when they were like, all right, now here's the obligatory sex scene. And I was like, oh, good. At least we'll have something to look at. And they were like, nope, covered up. And I'm like,
It's like, what kind of PG-13 nonsense is this?
right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, don't get me started on the freaking dry humping boyfriend thing.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, maybe we can just do things like over the clothes. And he's like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, dude.
All right. I'm like, no.
I was immediately taken back to my girlfriend in high school.
Oh, no.
I was like, I could feel the blue balls. It's like I could. It was just.
No wonder you're so frustrated.
It was the worst.
I'm surprised there aren't more serial killers.
It was the worst feeling. That shit hurts.
It's not fun.
It hurts.
Anybody's ever
It's
had.
like, oh God, I'd be so mad. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no.
It's the worst.
But he was all excited about it. Like, he was like, oh, I can dry hump you? Great.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, honey. That sounds.
Okay. Yeah.
Ugh. Go away.
No.
No.
This is why you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Accurate. So he kind of annoyed me, but I did like the vibes he was giving off were very like creepy, discount Johnny Depp. Like I knew where they were going. Oh, also the Freddy Krueger cameo joke in the
yes.
school.
Oh, the custodian.
There's so many good cameos in this movie.
Yeah.
Did you catch Linda Blair from The Exorcist?
No, who was she?
She's one of the reporters. She's the one that gets in Sydney's face and she's like, people have a right to know, and is shoving the microphone in her face. That's Linda Blair.
Nice.
Cool.
Right on. Courtney Cox was a freaking smoke show.
Gremlins
Yeah, she
mom?
was.
Oh, yeah. Tatum and Dewey's mom is the mom from Gremlins.
Tatum. Who are these two people?
Tatum, who dies in the garage door.
Rose McGowan.
The
cops.
blonde chick.
Yeah.
Okay.
The police officer, Dewey.
Okay.
Their mother is the mother from Gremlins.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I did not know that. The only one that I couldn't really claim
The
that I
Fonz.
recognized, obviously the Fonz. That was hilarious. Well, his death scene was great though.
I know.
Because he was like, he looked so like
he's so
sad
well-meaning
and betrayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves those
But
kids.
when those-
he touches too much though.
He's all very touchy on the face.
Oh, when he grabbed that chick by the mouth or whatever, it was
Yeah.
like,
He's like, we're just gonna the police are just gonna question you a little bit, sweetheart.
I was like, oh God, dude, stop. Yeah.
Did you notice that the Fonzie jacket was in his closet?
I did not
Yeah.
notice
Did
that.
not.
That's pretty funny
The
though.
leather jacket in there. Yeah. There was something he did. Oh, those two jackholes who were playing the prank. They were running around the scream mask in the hallways. And they got called into the Fonz's office. And he's like, you two sons of bitches, I'm expelling you. And they're like, come on, man, it's not fair. And he closes the door and he's like, you're right. It's not fair.
Fairness would be to rip your insides out, hang you from a tree so we can expose you for the heartless, desensitized little shits that you are.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, all right. I wanted more Fonz. More of that would have been fun.
So there was a moment in this movie, it's in the video store where basically Jamie Kennedy, Matthew Lillard are going through the suspect list. And up to that point, I was just kind of going along with the flow when I was first watching this movie in the theater. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, this is an Agatha Christie-style mystery.
Yes.
This is a whodunit.
Yeah.
You
Wrap-
love your mysteries.
Wrapped in a slasher thriller horror genre.
It's the perfect movie for us.
Yes, and it was at that point that I just got hooked into this movie when I first saw it. And this movie, it came out at a time when slasher films were dead,
Yeah.
right? Like it was like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, like everyone, like they had kind of been run into the ground.
All wrapped up.
Yeah, like nobody took them seriously. And so this movie came out, and with its meta awareness and the fact that you have the master of suspense, Wes Craven, directing it, the opening scene alone is so iconic. Like it's basically like one of the most famous scenes in all of horror film
And it's
history.
so genius too, because Drew Barrymore was in all of the production marketing for this. So everybody thought that she was like the lead in this movie. And then they kill her in the first
Brutally,
scene.
too.
It's fucking genius.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she was originally cast as Sidney Prescott, and Drew Barrymore was like, I'd rather play the character that gets killed at the beginning because no one will see it coming. And so that was actually her idea.
Oh,
Great idea.
Awesome. When she was filming this, in order to keep the adrenaline going, she was like jumping up and down and running in place and just keeping like her body moving to keep that whole like running for my life, fear of my life ending energy while she was doing this scene.
I thought it was really funny that in that scene, after the killer stabs her, and she's laying on the ground, and he's like dragging her to the tree that he's going to go hang
She
her up
stole
on.
the phone.
She's just hanging onto the phone,
Yeah.
just not letting go of that thing. And her mom's like, "I can hear her."
It was the
Oh my
90s,
God.
man. You didn't let go of that cordless phone.
Jeez, that was kind of weird and funny, but
Pretty
I'm trying to-
iconic though.
yeah, sure. It's not my thing, but I can understand this means something to a lot of people. I'm like, I can see it for
It's
sure.
like with that phone keeps on ringing. Don't hang up on me again, bitch.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. That'd be a little
Why
freaky.
did they kill Drew Barrymore? So the killer had a very, very clear motive. And I know they made a joke about like, it's better without a motive, man.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but they had a very clear motive. Like the killer was like, your mom slept with my dad, which made my mom leave my dad.
Yeah,
now
'cause-
I killed your mom and then I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like that's his whole
Your
like
mom was a slut.
the year-long plan, right? What did Drew Barrymore have to do with that?
She was dating Stu, and then she dumped him for Steve.
When did they say that?
While they're like sitting by that fountain.
At the school?
Yeah, and Tatum's like, Jamie Kennedy is like, didn't she break up with you for Steve? And he's like, no. And Tatum's like,
okay.
I thought you broke up with her for me. And he's like, I did.
Okay. I must have missed that dialogue.
Oh,
then. All right.
Jamie Kennedy.
That guy's the most annoying person in the show.
I just. I despise him in real life.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
What's it? Most Malibu's
it's-
Most Wanted or whatever?
It's work related.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I can't,
I've
I can't
heard
really
this.
get into it, but yeah. Yeah.
Don't meet your heroes.
No.
The ending was funny too with Courtney Cox, the smoke show, by the way.
Oh,
in this
man.
movie. This is like prime Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
You know, they originally weren't going to cast her because of her friend's image, because like she was like the nice, like uptight girl.
It was Monica.
Yeah, Monica. And she wanted to play against type. And so like she lobbied really hard to play like the bitchy reporter. And worked out for her.
She kind of saves the
I
day at
thought
the
she
end of
was
the movie.
fine. I thought
Yeah.
she was great in this movie.
I'll send you a copy. Bam! Bitch went down.
So as we were watching this movie, Jude kept commenting on Rose McGowan's outfits.
Tatum's the best character. She has the best outfits. She has the most personality.
The blonde chick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Dewey's sister?
Yeah.
yeah. So every time Rose McGowan's on screen, Jude's like, I just want to find that outfit. I
Yeah.
wanna order
Those
it.
red pants with the racing stripe, I've Googled them like 100 times this week.
You're talking about
That skirt, they do sell that skirt, but it's like $80.
Is that the skirt with like the
Yeah, the
thing that
kaleidoscope
goes right up
thing?
your butt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All her outfits are great.
So funny story about that is the costume director for the movie wanted to dress the character as more of a tomboy, and so they had like very baggy clothes and overalls and stuff like that. And so Rose McGowan basically hated all like the costume choices for her. So she'd go out every scene and like get an outfit and dress herself for the scene. And so like all those costume choices you loved,
Yeah.
that was just Rose McGowan's personal
Now I have
style.
to become
Good for
friends
her.
with her and borrow her shit.
Yeah. A couple of my complaints,
Okay.
and these are probably nonsensical and cheesy and don't really matter. But the killer was kind of a doofus.
Yeah.
They were tripping over themselves, walking into walls, getting their nuts kicked in, and like falling. And it was just, I'm like, it was never intimidating for me to see them on screen because I'm like, even when they did kill somebody, it was like, you probably shouldn't have been able to do that because you just like knocked your head on the freezer door like a cartoon character.
But that's part of the genius of this movie is because like in typical slasher films, the victims never fight back, right?
Yeah.
And so in this movie, they tried to walk that fine line between like realism and not making it cross over into comedy, even though like there's very comedic elements of this stuff. And but like they even say like, you know, like those scenes where like they run upstairs when the killer's after them, it's like that's so stupid. I would never do that. And then she does
immediately
exactly
does that,
exactly
yeah.
that.
Exactly.
Because you're in a panic and you don't know what you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it took me out of it a little bit, and I know it's supposed to because I guess it's supposed to be like you said, it's supposed to be riding that line. But like every time the killer would do something stupid and like Bugs Bunny their way out of a kill, I'm just like, oh my god, dude,
It's a really good thing that Rose McGowan tried to go out that dog door on the
genius. I mean, it's a good thing that garage door was literally the strongest garage
Strongest
door.
garage
That's what
door in the
Cater
world.
said
In
too.
the world.
And also the door would have stopped,
Yeah,
like with all her kicking and stuff.
Well, what's funny is
sensor.
Rose McGowan's so petite that she could actually go through the entire door, and they had to like fudge it to make it look like she was
Yeah.
struggling to get through.
I mean, it was a good kill. Don't get me wrong.
Great kill.
I thought it was a pretty good kill.
great kill.
But
Yeah,
Little
it's a classic.
just stretch the
Yeah.
suspension of disbelief there a little bit, but that's fine. It's
You know
fine.
what's the only thing that really bothers me about this movie
Hmm.
is in the very beginning when the killer comes to Sydney's house, and she is on the phone and she can't call the police when she runs upstairs. But it was the 90s. You also couldn't have gone online
Yeah.
to call the police.
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing that really bothers me about
I remember
this movie.
I remember when I was watching that and she did that. She goes and she types in call 911 like
Yeah.
she's freaking Neo in the Matrix.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
Like she's chat GPT and that stuff.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was super weird. It
You
just
know,
it was
well,
like
you know, at least they had a cellular phone. It was really good. They had a
What are you
cellular
doing with a cellular phone?
Yeah, cellular phone.
when
there,
Courtney
yeah.
Cox was like, give me the satellite phone. That poor guy got it the worst. He didn't deserve to die.
Poor Kenny.
Man. He got his throat slit
Oh my
and then
God, they killed Kenny.
He's getting harassed at work every day for being a little overweight, a little chubby.
yeah, and then how'd they get him on top of the van? They get him up there by himself?
Don't think about it.
Yeah, I don't think.
Why was he on top of the van?
When they sliced him, he flew back.
No. No, he fell. We watched him fall. And the only explanation is that the killer was like,
I would love to see those behind the scenes of like, okay, Stu, you get around that way. We got to hoist this guy up. Because when she starts driving this van, it's going to be hilarious.
right? Yeah. See, that's the only explanation is that these two guys were like, let's get him on top of the roof. That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way that works.
He can bleed out all over the
Oh,
windshield.
the windshield, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So there are two scenes in this movie that I really enjoy. And the first one is basically where Dewey goes and gets an ice cream and meets up with the sheriff.
I love that scene.
And if you watch really closely, every time the sheriff like takes a drag off his cigarette, Dewey takes like a lick
Yeah.
on the ice cream.
Yeah.
And it's a play off like the two cops like smoking the cigarettes, like putting the case together. But then, so the sheriff was actually a deputy in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
And the joke is that like he moved away from Elm Street to get away from all the violence and went to this small town.
I love that.
And gets this case. And then like when he puts the cigarette out, if you notice, he's wearing the same boots as the killer was. And so they were trying to like
I
connect
never
to the
saw
killer, yeah.
that.
But it's just so funny, like David Arquette, every time like, the guy takes a drag, he's like and,
Well, they keep
and
talking about how, like, oh, you're like 12.
Yeah.
He's like 25, man.
And I told Jude, I was like, the only thing that would have made that scene perfect is if when the sheriff crushes the cigarette butt with his boot, Dewey throws the ice cream on the
down
ground,
and steps on it.
steps on it.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I was like, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
This was the movie that Courtney Cox and David Arquette hooked up in, right?
Yeah.
They got together in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got married.
Yeah, this is how they met, actually.
Oh, okay.
And the second scene I absolutely loved is so Jamie Kennedy at a certain point in the third act, he's on the couch by himself watching
Yeah.
Halloween, and Skeet Ulrich in the full outfit starts stalking up behind him. Looks like he's going to kill him. and Jamie Kennedy's literally yelling at Jamie Lee Curtis on screen. He's like,
Look
Jamie,
behind
look
you."
behind you. Look behind you, Jamie. Look behind you. And it's so meta that my brain almost explodes.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, they do a play on that in it's either the 5th one or the 6th one. They do the same thing where somebody's on the couch watching the Stab movies. And it's that scene from the first Stab movie where it should be Jamie Kennedy, but because it's the Stab movie, it's played by somebody else. So he's doing the, you don't know the rules. And then the killer comes in behind and he's saying, Jamie, look behind you. And the person in the 5th or 6th one is going, fool, look behind you, and the killer's behind her.
Nice.
Well, the interesting thing about like the whole like the rules thing, so like the Randy character, who's Jamie Kennedy's character, there hadn't been like a lot of like kind of like meta awareness in horror movies up until
Right.
this point.
Mm-hmm.
And what made this movie stand out was that awareness. And like you have that scene in the movie rental store where Randy lays out the rules for a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And those rules kind of carry throughout like the Scream franchise, where it's basically like every trope you've ever heard of a horror movie applies to these movies. And it's really brilliant, like how they were able to kind of like incorporate that into this movie, where it's like, it was the first truly self-aware film I think I'd ever seen. And it just made the movie so much more fun because it was almost like the movie was in on the joke,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but whenever there's threat of actual death, the movie takes itself very seriously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so like, in fact, it's kind of funny because a lot of directors that the studio was going after were trying to basically come on board and make it into a comedy. And the producers were like, this isn't a comedy. And so like once Wes Craven came on board and he's like, no, we're going to make this a horror movie.
Yeah.
They're like, yes, horror movie with comedic elements. That's great. And it's a hard act to follow because I don't think the next two movies are very good.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this one, the opening scene's so good that you kind of gloss over a lot of like the stupid shit that's in the middle. And then the third act is really good.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, it's not a perfect movie, but it's pretty darn entertaining.
And the chemistry between the characters is so good that you're just on board for the ride.
Yeah, I believe so. Like Neve Campbell, you know, a little bit of context here. So like she was known for this sitcom called Party of Five.
Mhm.
Yeah. And she was like, you know, like the girl next door type sister
Yeah.
character. And basically everyone in this cast were completely unknown at the time. And this movie just blew up their profile. And Neve Campbell tried really hard to not get typecast as a Scream queen. In fact, I think she does mostly Lifetime movies nowadays when she's not doing like Scream sequels. But like this really like launched her career, and the career of Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard and Rose McGowan and all these people. So it's just kind of interesting to see like them graduate, I guess.
So I'm looking real quick at a critic list for Scream.
Oh.
And we've got an 88%, an 89%, a 92%, and 95% for this movie.
All right.
I'm probably going to have to lower that a little bit.
Oh, fuck you.
This wasn't my cup of tea. It's not a bad movie. It's just not my
See, you have
it's
this
not my
bad
jam.
habit of if something's not for you, you blame it.
I'm not
You
blaming
can't
it.
just be like, oh, it's not for me, but I understand why someone likes it, therefore I'll give it a fair score. No, you take points away because it's not for you.
Jude loves this movie. Did I mention that?
Yeah,
No,
I can tell.
we knew.
But that's how this works. It's like you with
I
Ram.
didn't do that with Rambo.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you just 1 star.
You absolutely
Excuse
did.
me?
I said I get why you love it, but it's a terrible movie.
It's not. This is a decent movie. I'd say decent. I'm going to say what, 55, 60% maybe.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's decent. It's fun. It's cool. It's goofy. It's,
Yeah, but that's a 3.5 star movie on critic list.
well, we're changing our ratings. I don't know. I don't know what the stars mean anymore. Points are made out. The rules don't matter. Yeah, it's decent. I had fun, but I fell asleep twice watching it. I had to watch it a third
You're
time.
absurd. You had a rough week. I'm
You're
blaming
absurd.
your week.
I did
Yeah.
have a rough week,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, I don't know. The characters are kind of grind on me a little bit, especially the super over the top annoying one. Jamie Kennedy is just
Jamie Kennedy minus a 0.5 star.
yeah.
This
For
girl's
Jamie
poor
Kennedy.
father.
Oh, he
gets
was a
cheated
useless
on.
piece of shit.
He gets cheated on by his wife. Then he has to deal with his wife's murder. Then he gets kidnapped by his daughter's boyfriend.
All in a year.
Yeah.
That guy, that's another thing that annoyed me too. She's got her dad duct taped. She distracts the killers. They get out of the way, and she doesn't release her dad. She puts him in a closet, still taped up.
For his safety.
Jesus.
I'd do that to you.
Let the man go. Let him help you fight the killers.
No, I know what's best.
Yeah.
I'll put you in the closet.
So dumb. So dumb.
So originally, the David Arquette character Dewey was supposed to be killed off in this movie. And it turns out that Wes Craven kind of liked the character. And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to shoot an alternate ending where, like, you know, we see him survive just in case the audience likes him as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so in test screenings, when they showed that Dewey survived, like, the audience loved it.
Aww.
And that's the only reason that he came back for the sequels, is because Wes Craven had kind of like the foresight to see that, like, the character was going to be very endearing to the audience.
Great. V, what are your final thoughts on this one?
What did you just give it a
Like 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars?
Yeah, like halfway. 50%, 55%, something like that.
So, like I said earlier, this might as well have been a first watch.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it in the theater. I do remember doing that, but I didn't remember the ending. It's been literally since this movie came out in 1996.
You didn't remember who the killers were?
I did not.
Wow.
1996.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Mm-hmm. You drink a lot too.
Tuesdays. But I didn't remember the ending of the movie or who the killers were. I might as well have been a first watch. It wasn't, because I remember going to the theater. It was this little indoor theater that where I used to work that I saw it in, because I went to it after I was at work. But for some reason, I didn't remember the end of the movie. But I did enjoy this movie, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I was surprised. I did not remember the two killer thing at the end, and it was just it was a good time. You know, I liked all the play on the tropes. You know, the rules and all that kind of stuff was fun. I thought the cast was great. I thought, you know, we got a bunch of 20-year-old teenagers, basically, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people playing younger than what they probably really were, and it was just a lot of fun. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff in this movie. Courtney Cox was really good in this movie. I thought she was really good looking. I thought she was fine as an actress as well, you know. But you know, I mean, she was big on Friends back then, right?
Yep.
You know, that was her thing. You know, this movie should have had Jennifer Aniston in it. That would have made it.
Your girlfriend.
Would you have gone more for Jennifer Aniston?
Oh
than,
yeah, hell yeah, dude. But
that was gross. That was slimy.
Texture.
you know, that's kind of gross. Whatever. But you know, where you're at 2.5 for this movie, I'm at a 3. I think. You know, I enjoyed this movie. I have a hard time saying anything bad about it. You know, a lot of people think it's dumb, silly, stupid, you know, whatever. I didn't watch this movie with that mindset. I knew this movie I knew going into this movie was a kind of sort of a parody of the whole horror genre to begin with. And that was how it was kind of marketed.
It's like a parody. It's a parody that takes itself seriously.
Right. I think that's kind of accurate. So I have a hard time judging this movie on like the same kind of scale that I would judge a Freddy movie or a Jason movie or something. Because
Which I've never seen any of those before either.
Oh, well, you will hate them. But so yeah, I'm gonna go 3 stars. I thought the twist at the end was fun. I would have liked some better kills.
Sure.
I guess, you know.
Boobs would have been nice.
Some boobs would have been nice. Yeah. That would have knocked it up to
3.5.
Hey, when they were watching Halloween, they're like, here's the obligatory boob shot.
Like,
and then they cut to a non-boob shot. And I was like,
that kind of just pissed me off.
Minus points.
Well, you know what's funny is like this movie kept getting hit with an NC-17 by the MPAA.
Why?
Because of all the blood.
Because it was too gory. And so like if they had added any boobs, like they wouldn't have been able to release the movie.
I honestly wish we had not had our issues today because I'm feeling a little incoherent. to where I'm not being able to put my words together the way I want to put my words
It's a
together.
3-star movie for Vader.
But it's a 3-star movie,
All right.
and I wish I could explain why a little bit better.
I understand where you're coming from.
You know what I'm saying?
You can put it in your critic list.
I might.
Review.
When I do my critic list
Well,
review.
this movie has inspired me to get on critic lists.
No way.
To try to defeat
to
you.
defeat my 50%? Yeah.
I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies in this genre. This movie changed the way that I watched horror movies. It put those rules right in your face, and like this is one of those movies that just kind of stays with me, like in life too. Like when you're walking in a parking lot, it's one of those things that like, oh, I've seen too many horror movies, and this is why. You know, I love this movie. I know almost every single line of dialogue in this movie. And I know like the intonation and which character. And I love just like sitting there and watching this movie. I could watch it again right now. I love watching this movie and going through all of the dialogue. I watched it by myself. I watched it several times this week. I watched it once by myself and I did all the dialogue to myself. And I'm texting Kadish like, oh, it's no fun doing this by myself. And then he came home and I was like, you want to watch it again?
Nice.
I love this movie. This is a 5-star movie for me.
5-star
Yeah.
from Jude.
Strong.
Wow. 100%. All right.
But I will say, you cannot capture lightning in a bottle. The rest of the franchise is not. I don't hold it in any kind of esteem as I do this first one. This first one would have been a great one-off. I love that it sparked a franchise. The rest of the franchise is not nearly as good as this one.
What's the slasher franchise where there's a guy that has like a meat hook that he uses to kill people? I've seen that movie before and I can't remember.
Candyman.
Was that Candyman?
I think so.
He was like a boat dock guy with a
no,
red
no.
jacket.
That's I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, okay.
Written by the same guy who wrote Scream.
I was getting those two confused this week. I thought it was this one. 5 stars from Jude. Very good. Cool. I can't wait to do our skit together. Kadish, how about you, buddy?
So because of the theater experience I had when I first saw this movie, I've held this movie in very high regard. It was a game changer for a lot of 90s cinema outside of the horror genre as well. You got to remember this movie was produced by the Weinsteins back in the day. It was a Miramax film under their Dimension banner, eventually bought by Disney and shuttered. But I believe Paramount now owns the Scream franchise, and they did some really bad MTV TV series based off of it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was really bad.
That was so bad.
Yeah, so bad. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. And so upon rewatch, I was like, this isn't as good as I remember. So like initially in my rating on the app that shall not be named because we're promoting Critic List right now, I had it at 4 stars. And when I went to, look at my review, I was like, this is a 3-star movie. Like just straight up.
I'm ashamed.
It's a 3-star. It's very historically significant, but it's the best of the franchise, in my opinion. I've only seen up to 3, so like I can't speak to like the
So
rest
if
of it.
you love this movie, get on Critic List.
I was curious. The new ones, because I like Jenna Ortega. I think she's cute. I liked Wednesday. Do I have to watch all of them to understand what's happening in like 5 and 6? No, I can just jump in. Okay.
If you've watched the first one, you can jump back into 5.
Okay. Cool. I might do that.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a new one out, and I'm curious to see how far this franchise has come.
Kevin Williamson, who wrote this movie, and he was the showrunner on Dawson's Creek and a bunch of other stuff. He initially intended for it to be a trilogy, like trilogy and done. And so like at the end of his script for this movie, like he included like a outline for the sequel. And so like within days of it being released in theaters and it was a hit, they greenlit the sequel, and it came out like a year later.
Yeah.
And then like in the third movie, they make a big deal about like the rules are different if it's a trilogy. And throughout the second and third movie, like they're referencing like in the second movie, they're like, sequels always suck, like they're always worse than the original. It's like, are there any sequels that are better than the original? And they mention Empire. And, all that
Aliens.
stuff.
Road Warrior.
Yeah, because Randy's going to film school. And I saw that sequel when I was in film school, and I was sitting there, I was like, that's so true. Those are the conversations we have all the time. But
Those are the conversations we have here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I mean, overall, like the sequels just can't hold a candle to any of these things. And after the third one, I was so disgusted with how it ended. I was just like, I can't watch any more of these. So I never watched the fourth one or the fifth one. The sixth one just came out.
Yeah.
Never watched that one either. So yeah, it's as a franchise, it's probably a 2-star franchise, but I really enjoy the first one. I think the first one has a special place in cinema history.
I agree.
Cool. Right on.
It's 5 stars.
All right, guys, that's our discussion of the original Scream. Thank you all so much for watching the video or listening to us on Spotify or Apple iTunes, wherever you're listening to your podcast. Thank you very much. Please consider joining our membership on YouTube where you get extra content, or if you would like to join our Patreon club, go to saltynerdclub.com. You'll also get extra content over there that's different than the member stuff. 2 tiers. We're doing double the work to help people out. Have some fun.
Help ourselves.
Help ourselves. Double dip. Also, Criticalist. Go to Criticalist and join up. Drop your reviews of your favorite movies and play around with the app. It's a lot of fun. Genuinely, we don't pitch products or things that we don't genuinely use and love. We did Dragon Champions, which we all played, and then we're doing Criticalist, which is a great app. Go check it out. Sign up.
Alex,
Yeah.
is there a fee to join Criticalist?
No, it's totally free.
Free, you say?
Totally free. Totally free to use. Really fun movie review app. It's where movie fans go. We take top priority over there as movie fans. It's not a bunch of different stuff. So it's like movies, TV shows. It's our genre. It's the people that watch our stuff will really like it.
You actually got on the phone with the guy who created the app, right?
I did. I had a developers meeting with him, and I was like, "Hey, man, can you get a couple of these things on there?" And he's like, "Sounds like a good idea." I told him about your porn idea.
Oh, good.
I mentioned you. I was like,
What
Vader.
was the porn idea?
Oh, he was like, Vader wants to know if he can review Nail and Palin on Criticalist. And he's like, oh, yeah, we could
whatever.
maybe make that happen. We'll see.
He watches them for the plot.
What the hell is wrong with you, man?
Yeah, so if you like us and you want to throw us some support, but you don't have the funds to join any of the paid ways to support us, go to Criticalist. That's a great way to help support the show and help support the people that are supporting us.
Exactly. Well put, Jude. It's almost like you're a professional.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Stay salty. See you next week.
Fucking hit me with the phone, Dick! My mom and dad are gonna be